We're going to be working with parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines never intersect. And this is because they have the same slope. For example, if I give you y equals 2x plus 1, so I have a y-intercept at 1 and I go up 2 over 1, trying to connect it as best as I can, and I give you another one that is y equals 2x plus 3, notice that both of them have the same slope of 2, then even though my y-intercept is 3, if I keep going up 2 and over 1, they are never going to intersect because their rate of change is the same. So they keep going up the same movements, the same slope, and will never intersect. Now, perpendicular lines, and this is that symbol of perpendicular, they will intersect, but they're special because when they intersect, they form a 90-degree angle. Okay, that's why they are special. Now, they have a slope that is the opposite, which means if it's plus, then the other one's minus, or if it's minus, the other one's plus, and reciprocal. So this means if I have the equation y equals 2x plus 1, and then I take the opposite reciprocal of this, the opposite of positive 2 is negative, so I have y equals negative, and the reciprocal is just by flipping that fraction. So in my blue equation down here, technically this is 2 over 1, which means a perpendicular line to this one is going to have a slope of 1 over 2, and its opposite. So if I go up 3, so my y-intercept is 3, and I go down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2, and this is that line, then when they form this angle right here, it forms a 90-degree angle. And that little square box represents a 90-degree angle. Okay, so I'm going to give you the example y equals, let's do 3x plus 5. And if you listed a whole bunch of examples that were parallel to this line that I wrote in red, that would be, I could have y equals 3x minus 1, y equals 3x plus 7. I could use some fractions and have y equals 3x plus 3 over 2. Anything, but the key is that you notice that they all have the same slope of 3. So if I wanted to do a perpendicular equation, if I had y equals 4x minus 1, then you have to do a little bit more work with this, and you have to find one that is the opposite reciprocal. So the opposite of positive 4 is negative 4, and the reciprocal of 4 over 1 is 1 over 4. And then we can do plus 2. We can have the opposite, or negative 1/4 x minus 7. Y equals negative 1/4 x plus 1 over 6. Notice they all have the opposite reciprocal slope compared to this first one. So each of these purple equations are perpendicular to this first one we started with. So now I can ask you to find a line that is parallel to the line y equals negative 6x plus 1, but it has to go through the point 1, 4. So Just like before when we were finding equations of the lines given 2 points, we found slope and then we borrowed one of those points to find b. It's the same type of thing, but now we need to recognize that we have the slope already. Because it said the word parallel and we were given an equation, we know that we are going to use the same slope. So for this scenario, m equals -6 still. But now, instead of picking between 2 points, we're going to borrow these 2 points. Or I'm sorry, this 1 point, these 2 values, this x value and this y value. So I'm going to write 4 equals -6 times 1 plus b. Again, we're using our y equals mx plus b formula. So I get 4 equals -6 plus b. I'm going to add 6 to both sides, so b equals 10. So the line that is parallel to this equation but goes to the point 1, 4 is y equals -6x plus 10. Now if I ask you to find a line parallel to y equals -1/3x plus 2 that goes through the point -2, 2. So for this one we have to do a little bit more work. Since it's perpendicular, you're going to think opposite reciprocal. So we need to identify the fact that our slope to start is -1/3. So the opposite reciprocal of -1/3 is positive 3/1. So our slope is going to be positive 3. And we know this because it says perpendicular. Okay, so I'm going to use this point, -2, 2, and I'm going to write 2 equals 3 times -2, and then we're going to solve for b. 3 times -2 is -6, and if I add 6 to both sides, b equals 8. So a line that is perpendicular to -1/3 x plus 2, but it goes through the point -2, 2, is going to be y equals 3x plus 8.